That power is getting ready to be put back in us. For those who believe and have ears, that power that Yahushua had on the earth, we're going to get that and more. And we're going to get those heavenly bodies, man. See, Yahushua died on the cross and went through all that he went through so he can go back on the right-hand side and be glorified. We're fighting and making our bodies a living sacrifice so that we can eventually be back glorified with him as well as we were before the foundation of the earth.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs of God, and joint heirs with God. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
Eternal life. That's what's promised to the elect. All right, all Israel, but it starts with the elect. And that's how the earth will be governed by immortals, perfect angelic forces who are going to come down and rule on earth. Extraterrestrial bodies will be able to do things that humans do, but in heavenly bodies. Like eating, drinking. Did not Yahushua say he's going to drink wine with us in the kingdom? Well, how do you drink wine with a spiritual body? Well, we're going to have out of this world capabilities in those new bodies.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. All right, and what I want to get into today is respond, to what we've seen happen, which I'm quite sure most of you brothers, all right, and you few sisters have seen this weekend, all right, this past week at the Dallas camp, okay, this Friday night, all right, and what you had was this young guy from the ISUPK, approached brothers, all right, and there was a dialogue, okay, and what that showed, because everything, nothing is happening just because, the Lord was showing something in the spirit. There was a few things that the Lord, was doing in the spirit. Okay. And one of the things that stood out, all right, is that, the scriptures say, matter of fact, let's just get that precept. Okay. Because what we seen, with the fruit of ISUPK, okay, and the way he was unprepared, the way that he didn't have a clue of what was going on, all right, the way, he was just dry, in the spirit. Well, that's a representation of the leadership, okay, of the ISUPK, okay, he just wasn't on point, all right. Now, you go here to the book of Matthew, chapter 7, okay, and 15, it says, beware of false prophets, all right, which come to you in sheep clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Okay, and we know, as we've been warned, all right, throughout the scriptures about, false prophets, in the end times, and especially, as we get closer and closer. Okay, and what you have, all right, the false prophets, that are popular, they're world friendly. All right, and they have this following. Well, the people following them, okay, are being set up for complete failure. Okay, you have Israelites that know that they're Israelites that's going into the worst time ever. All right, completely unprepared, completely naked, man. Okay, and this is a reflection of the leadership. All right, and this is a goddamn shame. All right, that they're sending these men, these young men out here. Okay, not equipped with nothing. Okay, they just know that they're Israelites. Okay, now when you go here, because it says, but inwardly they are raving wolves because they just devouring Jake's spirit. You know, Jake is just devoured. Okay, just a shell. You know, once these guys get through pushing that madness, man. All right, so you shall know them by their fruits. Okay, so the fruits of these other camps, all right, is a reflection of their leadership. Okay, and what was shown this weekend, the ISUPK should be ashamed of their goddamn self, man. What they're putting out here. Okay, the product that's coming from ISUPK, man, they should be a goddamn shame, man. You know what I'm saying? This is more of a reflection on the leadership because that young guy, he don't know what's going on, man. Okay, he don't know. He don't know about life yet. He don't know about nothing. Okay, he's green as grass. All right, but he's walking around, you know, with his ISUPK, all right, T-shirt on, you know, just casual Israelites. You see, just you know, he just here to hang out. It's just another, all right, because ISUPK is nigger friendly. I'm not even gonna say world friendly. It's nigger friendly. Okay, so you have Jake, you know, come in the spirit of a hangout. Okay, but there's no learning. They're not pushed to be scholarly. They're not pushed to look into things. They don't have an expectation when it comes to teaching. They're just here. Okay. It says, do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree, all right, even so, every good tree bringing forth good fruit. All right. And that's why when you look at, of course, there's going to be bad apples in the bunch. Okay. But when you look at the organization of GMS, all right, which is the school of prophets, man, all right, you're looking at thorough, you have so many, all right, thorough teachers. Okay, there's such a variety of thorough men that sincerely teaching the Bible. Okay, that's what make up the bulk of the men in GMS. Okay, is teachers. You have all these different camps, and everyone in those camps, okay, have the ability, okay, to edify. Okay, of course, some more than others. Some brothers will have more output. Okay, but it's expected, all right, that you be able to edify when it comes to biblical topics, man. It's expected to go into prophecy. It's expected to be a watchman. And you're seeing the fruit, okay, of the apostles and the elders. All right, as the apostles and the elders, they're fruit of their elders, man. Going back to Elder Abba Bivens, King Masha, High Priest Ariah. Okay, so good fruit represents what? A good tree. Okay, it said, but a corrupt tree bringing forth evil fruit. And see, all this guy here, and like I say, is way bigger than this young cat, man. you know, it's way bigger than this young cat. But what this showed here, okay, is that the only thing he was prepared to do, because he wanted to go into, all right, the grape, okay, and then all he could say was that ISUBK had the truth, but he doesn't even know what they teach, and he doesn't even know what he believes. You see, so ISUBK has fruit out here that all they are ready to do is slander GMS, okay, and defend the leadership of ISUPK. Okay, that's the type of fruit that ISUPK has floating around the earth. Okay, verse 17 says a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Okay, so what you're seeing, all right, is that you have a corrupt tree, which is the false prophets. You know, ISPK is just one of the main camps, okay, of false prophets. All right, and you're seeing their fruit, but then you look at the good tree, beginning with the apostles and the elders, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, and you're seeing their fruit. Okay. So the Lord is showing something, man. One thing about it, the Lord is making this thing plain. Okay. The Lord is making this thing plain before he brings judgment, man. And you Israelites, you're not going to have any excuses that you didn't know. All right. Because the Lord is making it plain who got it and who don't. Okay. It says every tree, okay, that bringeth not good, every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire, man. The Lord finna start breaking, all right, these false camps up, man. As the elder Pastor Har always goes into, man. See, there's another element. It's gonna be a lot of. We coming to a time of prophecy where there's gonna be the Lord's gonna get extremely active, man. Okay, you're gonna be seeing, you know, like I said, you're gonna be seeing Jake being judged by troops. You're gonna be seeing Eve starving and catching hell. You're gonna be seeing false prophets and these camps getting broken up. Okay, this is the time that we in when the Lord's gonna get extremely active when it comes to prophecy, man, and judging. Okay, because false prophets are a part of the 2/3. There's a lot of people with fringes on, okay, that are part of the 2/3. You see, that's why I said, wherefore by their fruit ye shall know them. Okay, and you know, I haven't seen anything as of yet. You know, I've been moving around a little bit, so I haven't just sat down and watched a lot. You know, I'm finna watch some things now. But if these guys make a response, okay, they're gonna have no shame of how this young Jake is out here, okay, clueless about what's going on. Okay, they're gonna make, if they respond, they're gonna respond, all right, to defend their egos. Okay, if they do, you know, I don't know if they have yet, but you know, time will tell. But let's go here to the video. You know, let's go to the video, and I want to just go into some things. Now, what just hit me was when the elder brother Yawan, he was making a point, and as soon as he got done making that point, Jake pops on the screen. You know, and the Lord will do that. You know, brothers, you know, in camp. You know, I know most brothers have this testimony where, you know, you'll say something, the Lord will give you an example right there on the spot of what you're speaking on. Okay, so let's play this, you know, and we'll jump around and make some points. All right, and Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters are edified. Okay, so let's blow this up.
What, eating, drinking, and being married until the day the Lord was like, you know what? I'm finna drown each and every one of these people. Do as thou wilt, just like they're doing today. There you go. You know?
Yeah, but like it says in 1 Thessalonians 5, that day is not going to overtake the elect as a thief because we understand prophecy. These people, they don't know what's about to hit them. They know something's going on, but they can't quite put their finger on it. But those that are been paying attention to Yahweh Shemiyah the prophecies, we know in detail what's about to play out. So there's a difference between somebody who is prepared for a fight and somebody that just get thrown out there.
Right.
If you can.
There's a difference between someone that's prepared for a fight and someone that's just being thrown out there. Okay. Now, when he says this, watch what happens. You see, there's a difference of someone that's prepared for a fight and someone that's just being thrown out there. Okay.
See the difference of how they respond to things.
Right.
No cloak for 2/3 because the prophets have been on the scene warning though.
Right. Well, the scriptures say when they shall say peace and safety, then shall sudden destruction come upon them.
I was wondering, y'all JMS?
Yep. Who you with?
ISCPK.
Okay, John the Baptist was a man of the Lord, by the way, man. Yeah, that bullshit y'all teaching about, you know, I ain't trying to come at you, but that's a wicked thing y'all teaching about John the Baptist. I just wanted to tell you that. I would tell your leader that to his face. I ain't trying to come at you crazy, But that's off to teach that the forerunner of our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai was not a man of the Lord, because he questioned the Lord when he was in jail. That's not true, bro. Truth. John the Baptist was a man of the Lord, bro.
Absolutely.
And the spirit had it, with a beloved elder brother Yashawamba. He went directly into John the Baptist, which is, a heresy, of ISUPK, to where they teach that madness that he wasn't in the truth because he questioned, Yahweh Shai when he was in prison. Okay. And they took that and ran with it. Now here it is, this prophecy concerning, John the Baptist. All right, the Lord allowed, John the Baptist to be the one to baptize Yahweh Shai. Okay. He was Yahweh Shai's cousin. Okay. And ultimately, all right, he was born of the Spirit, which we'll probably get into. I know Eliashua Wamba, he probably gonna tap into it again, but they went into it during this camp, So we in the time now, all right, that we in the time now, all right, where the Lord, all right, is stirring things up and he's bringing things to the forefront. All right. And this issue with John the Baptist, not being in the truth, that's madness, man. Okay. And see, one thing about, because the culture we was brought up in, nigga culture, it's the opposite of our culture. Okay. And one thing that's cute in nigga culture is to be disrespectful. Okay. Is to be disrespectful, especially, to men, that you should reverence. Okay. It's cute amongst niggas to be disrespectful. You see, but when you go into the scriptures, when you go into our culture, all right, as Elder Zahab goes into it, how you will even stand before the hoary head, which are the elders. Okay, but when you go into Sirach, all right, the book of Sirach, chapter 44 and verse 1, it says, "Let us now, all right, 144, let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begot us." Okay, and you look at the great men, the renowned men, okay, that did mighty works, okay, in the spirit of Yahweh by Shema Shai, those men, deserve reverence, man. You can't, that's not no light thing what they're saying about John the Baptist, man. And Yahweh by Shema Shai don't like that shit, man. Was he perfect? Absolutely not. No man of the Lord was perfect. Yahweh Shai was perfect in their lifetime. That was it. Okay, but other than that, no man of the Lord was perfect. Okay, John the Baptist had a moment. That doesn't negate, all right, that the Lord used him for a mighty work in righteousness, man. And he has a good report. Okay? We're going back into it, see, and we're going to see that ISUPK, man, they're just niggas, man. You see? And like I say, that nigga culture, okay, within nigga culture is cute, all right, to be disrespectful. You see? But you go back to our culture, there was a certain reverence that you had for elders, especially those men that were renowned for righteousness, man. Okay? So let's read this again. Sirach 44, okay, and 1. All right. And it reads, "Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begot us. The Lord have wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning." So the Lord will the Lord will work a mighty work through particular great men. Okay? He will use particular men to do a mighty work. And those men will be reverenced. Okay? And these men that he would do mighty work, through, these men will be humble. All right, men of integrity, men that sacrifice. Okay? Was willing to die, saved from death. Okay, John the Baptist, he died for righteousness, man. Okay, for standing on righteousness, man. And you're gonna slander, okay? You're gonna slander him with that BS, and that's why the spirit's on Eliashua Wamba to go into that, man. That ain't no light thing that Jake is doing. See, Jake is so niggified and western out. Okay, and they think these things are light because nigga culture, you can just say and do any goddamn thing and everybody just laugh. It's cute. They're Charleston White spirit, just saying and doing any goddamn thing. Okay, but there's going to be, all right, a reckoning for all this, man. Okay, and ISUPK is setting up Jake for complete failure, man. Them and other false camps. Okay, so let's go back to it and let it play some more. All right.
Did you know your leaders taught that?
Baptize the Lord. You know, shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Yeah, I just was wondering, like, because I seen IUIC and I see GMS. Yeah, I seen them earlier, man.
Yeah, we GMS. But John the Baptist is the man of the Lord, brother. You might want to.
I mean, you know, there's a bunch of things that, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a one of many, but.
I mean, you can say that about us, but we can say the same thing about you.
What do we say that's wrong? Like what? What?
Like, you know, philosophy.
What was marriageable age in ancient biblical times?
You know,
what was it? Just tell me what it was. When was a woman marriageable for age in the ancient world? When she passed the flower of her age, which is a cycle.
She can have a child.
Now, sometimes she would be promised to a man.
A respect for age.
Huh? No. I'm talking about the ancient world. When she blossomed.
And see these men, you know, they're ashamed, okay, of the doctrine, man, because it's not cute in the Western world. And this is my thing too with this whole, you know, thing with marriageable age, which we teach, you know, in the scriptures. All right, you had a marriageable age, all right, which when a woman, you know, and it wasn't like now, and no brother is teaching, okay, that's okay to go do that, or pushing brothers to go do that. Okay, they're acting like this is just an epidemic of GMS men. Okay, trying to play that out real time. No, we're just going into how it was in the ancient world. Okay, how it was, and even amongst other nations, they dealt with marriageable age that was younger than, you see, what they call marriageable today. And here it is. Okay, the people that run the earth, they deal with infants and 1 and 2 year olds. Okay. But there, you know, ISUBK don't go hard on them. Okay, because, you know, we brought that out before and they act like we open up camp going into that every time. Okay, that's a topic that comes up. Okay, because it was true. You see? And then the kingdom things are going to go back to its rightful order. A 12 and 13-year-old today is nowhere near what a 12 and 13-year-old was back in the ancient world, when women were groomed and cultivated to be wives and keep the house. Okay? you got niggas in their 30s and 40s. All right, the woman in her 30s and 40s, childish as hell, man. So what the hell is a 12 and 13? And that's not, we know this ain't even, look, come on, man. But see, Jake, here it is. They into the nigga shit, which are niggas in the neighborhood letting Eve turn 18 before they, okay? Do niggas in the neighborhood let Eve turn 18? Okay, and there's no one where the woman is less protected than among nigga environments. Okay? So come on, man. Everyone act like they just these heroes for the woman, but you have a culture that destroys the woman. Okay? So let's let this play, man.
12, 13, 14. She was what is a period representing a woman?
But, you know, Shalanda.
Yeah, but what does that represent in a woman? A cycle represents she's ready to bear children. My grandmother was 13 when she had a child. Those are ancient customs we're bringing out. So you can't get on us for bringing out an ancient custom because today it doesn't make sense. When we bring out the flower of the age. Even the law on grape, these are things that went on in the ancient world. These ain't things we're saying we don't to advocate and do it now. We just go.
And real quick, let's just get a little history on it. Let's just get a little history on it. Because Jake Jake coming to the truth, man, and they try to make Eastern concepts fit the way they was brought up with Auntie and Mamo. Mamie. They try to make it fit with that. All right. It don't work like that. Okay. What we've been taught in the West, all right, is absolute madness, man. Okay, and it's off. And look at the results. Look at the culture of the West. And Jake still think that Western standards triumph. Okay, our culture, which we know we're not in a predicament to carry out our culture in this society, in this setup in captivity. Okay, there's a lot of things, okay, of our customs and culture that we can't do. Okay, but that doesn't mean we can't teach those things and how it was to give our people a perspective outside of Western culture. Okay, so let's go here. It says what marriageable age meant in the ancient Hebrew and Near Eastern society. To be marriageable age did not primarily refer to a specific age number, but a stage of maturity. All right, physical, social, and economic. Okay, physically mature enough to bear children, and when will be the sign of that? When a woman will have a period. Okay, and it ain't like now when people are eating these chemical filled foods. Okay, and the woman can have, the little girl have a period now at 9. Okay, no, that wasn't the thing. 12, 13, 14, they was having their cycle. Okay, which is a sign that, okay, she's ready to bear. Okay, it says physically mature enough to bear children for women, all right, or to support a family for men, because the men had to be an ability to where they had to be in a position to where they could support a family. Men had to have skills. Okay, they had to be on a certain level to where they could, all right, head a household. All right, and women were being groomed up to assist him in running that household. Okay, it wasn't just on some freaky, there's two horny niggas. Just no, man. It was structure. Marriage was structure, man. Okay, here it is in the West, and you have the most absolute tackiest. Okay, marriage is the absolutely tackiest ever been in society, in history. Okay, it says it's socially recognized by their family or tribe as ready for marriage. Okay, so your father, all right, a woman's father. This is another thing. Here it is. This is a culture where there's no father, just a matriarch. Okay, in the ancient world, you had a father, and the father, all right, just because the woman has she has a period, okay, that morning, then that evening, she's been married off. No, okay, that was just a sign, okay, that she's able to bear children now. Okay, but it was still on the father to mature his daughter to the point to where she will be suitable for marriage. Okay, so even just that factor that soon as she had a cycle, she was just out the door, she just thrown out there. No, man, the father will still, okay, be overseeing his daughter's development, okay, before she would be, all right, allowed to marry, man. Okay. It says legally permitted, all right, to marry under community or covenantal norms. It says marriageable age for women. It says in the ancient Israel and much of the Near East, all right, in much of the ancient Near East, girls were typically considered marriageable age, all right, after puberty, when menstruation began around 12 to 14 years old. Marriage is often arranged, all right, soon after, though the actual wedding might occur a little later, depending on family or diary arrangements. Okay, so you have a betrothal period, You know, the woman might have a menstrual, let's say at 13. Okay, or the betrothal period, okay, could last for a while, and she will be 14. You know, going into that. Okay, she could be 14. You know, or she was 12. You know, betrothed, promised to someone, and she would get to a certain point. And then even when the man, okay, will get the woman, the man, all right, he could like, look, she need to mature a little bit. See, it wasn't just on no horny. I can't, you know. See, you looking at the Western culture when you just scrolling through and looking at women on, you know, through shorts, and you see, you know, you just going through clicking on pictures. Men weren't on that. Okay, men was getting wives to add to their estate for a purpose, man. Okay. Matter of fact, let's go with this. Said the focus was not romantic readiness, but rather family alliances, economic stability, and childbearing potential. Okay, so the East was completely different from the West, man. All right, and see, guys like ISPK, IUIC, okay, they take this Western stance when it comes to, all right, customs, all right, Eastern customs, man. Okay, and the way the Lord had things set up. You see? So let's go back from there. Let's go back to the video. Just want to get a little bit on that, man. All right, and we don't shy away from that, because one thing about it, we know we ain't teaching nobody to do that. Okay, and we know, look, this ain't we ain't even that. You know, women ain't even the focal point of the ministry, man. Okay, women are spoils of war. We look, we got forever to do that. Okay, so we gonna you know, we don't shy away from that topic, man. We're gonna go into it, man. We're scholarly men. Okay, we're not just saying we read the description. Oh shit, you know, no, man. We read that. You know, brothers have constantly went into that, man. The elders, apostles, they go into that. Okay, so I said we're not gonna shy away from that, man. Okay, yeah. God damn, you know. But let's go back.
Going to the law. The law says stone a rebellious child.
I understand.
You see what I'm saying? So I ain't, you know what I'm saying?
But what I was trying to say, like, I was trying to see who you guys like were.
Yeah, we Great Millstone. Yep, Great Millstone. I know you with your woman, so I ain't trying to, you know what I'm saying? But that's that whole John the Baptist thing.
Also, too, I'm still a young man as well.
Yeah.
So there's some things that you might say to me, I might not understand too as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, at the end of the day, brother, judgment is coming. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is through His only God. Prophecy is coming. This place is collapsing. Right. So you got to be make sure you right with the Lord, and not just be following, you know, the man.
That's the way.
That's not the way.
And see, he, you know, you can't really hear Jake, you know, but he said, because the, you know, elder Yashawam is telling him, you know, judgment is coming, you know, and he, you know, needs to be rooted in true understanding, basically. Okay. And then he says, he doubles down and says ISUPK is the way. He's just a zombie. Okay, he don't know. He just saying ISUPK the way, but he can't even tell you what ISUPK teach. Okay, only thing he knows is how to slander GMS and defend ISUPK and right leadership. That's the only thing this guy knows. Okay, and it's many. He represents one of many. You see?
Yeah. You know, and your woman's here, so I ain't, you know, but you know, man, them dudes are going off, man. They going completely off. Okay, I'm gonna just say that. And they told y'all to take the jab. Did you take the jab? Did you take the jump shot?
Like, what do you mean?
Did you take
about like Kobe?
Did you take the VAX, the VAX?
I mean, no, that's what I did. Yeah, when I was younger, my mom.
No, I'm talking about 2020.
Like,
your leadership told the whole nation of Israel that they would be stupid not to take that VAX. And that's now it's coming to find out that it's H to the I to the V in that thing. And all these people dropping the cancer, all these people dropping the blood clots. This is not medical information, but I'm just saying, your leadership told people to go out there and take that. I wouldn't follow a man. I'm not telling you what to do. You're a grown man, but I'm.
And, you know, you would think, okay, that, you know, Jake will start putting two together, man. But Jake, you know, hey, at the end of the day, you know, as a you know, you watch it and you be like, damn, they got a young Jake out here, just out here bad, man. You know, at the end of the day, hey, the Lord got him stuck like that, man. Because you can tell that nothing is registered when it comes to true knowledge and understanding. His mind is made up that ICBK is the way, and it doesn't, and he doesn't need a doctrine to go with it. He just convinced. You know, now if he's, you know, hey, the Lord could wake him up, okay, eventually, or he's just there for judgment, man. Okay. Another thing, ICBK told people to take that juice, man, and what happened? All right, what was the result of that, man? Okay, so let's move on down. All right, just address some more things. Okay,
Politics. Yeah, you following some false prophets, man.
That's what you think.
No, that's what I know.
I don't think you really
A lot of the truth and wasn't a man of the Lord.
You know, I'm gonna have to do more studying on it.
Well, if you walking around with the star and Jacob Esau, you got to be, you know, I'm just telling you, young brother.
so you know what I'm saying, because he got all this, you know, merchandise on. All right, and they did make sure they do that. All right, so they got him with the ISBK merchandise. Okay, but he doesn't know anything, man. He didn't give a for sure answer on anything. If you watch from, you know, like the 32-minute mark to the 49 period, you know, like I said, we're just gonna jump around, but he didn't know anything. Okay, he didn't have a sure answer. He didn't have a straightforward answer with anything. Okay, but he was ready to, you know, slander. You know, he had to deal. You know, brothers had to go into the marital age, and all he could say was ISUBK is the way. But when you go into specific, all right, questions, he didn't know anything. But I've got the question he asked, wind it back, try to get to that question. Okay, let's see.
You can't use that to say he wasn't a man of the Lord because he didn't follow Yahweh Shah. He wasn't meant to follow Yahweh Shah. He was meant, his course was to prepare the way. So we can't say John the Baptist wasn't a man of the Lord. That was the direct sending of Aaron on earth in the flesh, transferring the priesthood from Aaron and the high priest to the Lord Yahweh Shai. We cannot disregard that man's position and say he's not a man of the Lord. That's a doctrine that ISUBK teaches that irks me. That's not right. You see, amongst other things, but that one is the one that when I saw you, because I always said if I ever see a brother from the ISUBK, I'm gonna talk about that.
So what you know, I understand.
Right.
What's silence?
Huh?
I understand what's silence, but I don't understand. Like,
right. You didn't. I don't even think you know that they teach that.
I don't think you did.
I don't think you know. Just the way you responded. How long you been in?
I'll tell you like a young man.
Okay.
So you know, there's things I've seen about GMS.
Yeah, of course. I know what with greatness. What you say about GMS? We'll break it down. We'll deal with it in the scriptures right now. We hate women. Any question, we'll deal like men.
Well, you know,
yeah, of course. Okay.
Let every man be fully persuaded. I will have this conversation.
Yeah.
You say what?
Let every man be fully persuaded
in his own mind.
That's the 14th chapter.
Right.
So I'm saying, maybe if it was like 2 years, more rebuttal points. Now how this conversation? But I was just coming up and saying, you know, I wasn't like 100% sure. Because it's IUIC over there.
Yeah, we're not IUIC for sure. We definitely are them guys. But at the end of the day,
you gotta have the spirit of the Bereans too. You gotta look into it before you just follow people too.
Right. Do you believe that John the Baptist was a man of the Lord?
There's some scriptures too as well, you know.
Right. But this a yea, the scripture said, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. Do you believe that John the Baptist fell out of the truth and wasn't a man of the Lord?
You know, I'm gonna have to do more studying on it.
Well, if you're walking around with the star and Jacob, Esau, you got to be, you know, I'm just telling you, young brother, you got to be fully, you got to be, get that scripture, be ready to give an answer.
Like I remember. But
John the Baptist, how long you been in the truth?
Like I remember. But I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I mean, I get you. But how long you been in?
Like, you know, because I'm 18.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, brother, hey, the time is short. You know what I'm saying? Through the spirit, the time is short. I just have increased to it.
Yeah, he can just never give a straight answer. You know, with anything, and you can just tell, man, he just spaced out. You know, and like I said, this is the result. This is a product of ISUPK. You know, and this is more shameful on the leadership than this young Jake who just lost. He's 18. You know, just out here. You know, scrolling. You know, the city with his woman. He doesn't have a clue of what he's part of. He doesn't know what he believes. He doesn't know what's going on. Okay, so you know he doesn't know anything about prophecy or anything. Okay.
Knowledge is increasing.
Level fast, you know.
I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. You following some charlatans.
Yeah.
You following some false prophets, man.
That's what you think.
No, that's what I know.
I don't think you really know what you.
And the only thing I say that he had a quick response on was when it came to defending the leadership of ISBK. Because soon as Eliasha Wamba told him that he's following some charlatans, some false prophets, he said, "That's what you think." Okay, he's young. As he lost. Okay, he had a little pride on him as well. Okay. The only thing that, and it's just showing that the only thing that these other camps are really pushing towards their men, okay, is to defend the leadership, okay, and slander GMS. That's it.
Spirit, you don't even really know what you into, brother. I can just tell by your spirit, and I'm not, you know what I'm saying. But we men out here. That's off to teach that John the Baptist. John the Baptist was not in the truth and fell out of the truth. Because you got to understand, many of the Jews at the time, at the time that Yahweh Shai came on the scene, many of the Jews thought the kingdom was coming then. So many of them lost. They kind of got faint-hearted when the kingdom didn't come. John the Baptist, when you listen to how he described the Lord, he said, "Fire is coming." A lot of the Jews thought that the end was coming. So when he was put in jail, he was like, "Damn, I thought I was supposed to, get the kingdom." So there was a point where he questioned the Lord. Your teachers used that to say he fell out of the truth when they told y'all to take the jab. Now, are they gonna tell you to take the microchip? Would you take a microchip? Your leader said, "You think God cares if somebody take a microchip? Would you take a microchip?" Hell no, you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't. Well, would you?
So I will let you know.
You got to be able to say no, yes, or no on that one.
Look at what I'm saying. I will let you know.
Yep.
But right now, I'm still learning.
You're still learning.
But you got to know that I know the scripture.
You just saying.
I don't know how to explain.
Explain.
Okay. Yeah, so
young.
If you're telling me I know yes or no, but you don't know.
But about stuff.
And see, he should be somewhere studying, or he should. Here it is. He's around all these elder brothers. You know, these seasoned men. Okay. Instead of asking questions, because he obviously doesn't know anything. So instead of asking questions, okay, he's still trying to just defend the leadership of ISUBK. So let's go here. Let's get some more precepts. All right, because this is what's being built amongst false camps, man. You know, they got a few men that go into the scriptures, and then everyone else is just there. It's just in the audience, man. Not being pushed. All right, not having any expectations. Not, just there. Just to be a number, another number that they can boast in. Okay, so let's go here to Ezekiel 13. All right, this is a book okay, of Ezekiel chapter 13, and let's go. Let's start at in verse 9. It says, "And my hand shall be upon the prophets that see vanity, man." Okay, and Israel has been saturated with vanity. Okay, there's a lot of vanity, empty things amongst Israel. Those that know that they're Israelites. Okay, as more people have found out, a lot of 2/3 have found out they're Israelites. Okay, and vanity, all right, attracts vanity. You see, so there's a lot, of sects and segments of Israel that just complete vanity. That's why gimmicks are at the forefront of what they do. Okay, it says in their divine lines, all right. It says in divine lies, I says they shall not be in the assembly of my people. See, there's a lot of Israelites that know that they're Israelites, but they're not of the elect, man. Okay, the Lord has false prophets set up to snare and then trap the undesirables, man. Okay, so neither shall they be written in the writing of the house of Israel in the book of life. Okay, there's only a remnant. All right, only the hopeful elect is written in it. Okay, to be changed to immortals during the time of this destruction. Every Israelite is not written to go through that change. Okay, it said, neither shall they enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord, all right, your power. All right, I'm the Lord power. Okay, so there's a lot of Israelites that have awakened to who they are to be judged. Okay, to still be an enemy to the truth. You see, verse 10 it says, because they have seduced my people. All right, and this Jake is just someone he's one of many that have been seduced, saying peace, okay, and there was no peace, and one built up a wall, and lo, others dubbed it with untempered mortar. And we're going to go into that. Okay, saying to them, what it said, which dub it with untempered mortar, that it shall fall, there shall be an overflowing shower, and ye, O great hailstones, shall fall, and a stormy wind shall rend it. Okay, and this stormy wind is Jacob's trouble. This guy going to Jacob's trouble, and he represents many of the fruit of these false camps. It's finna go into Jacob's trouble with no foundation. Okay, they finna go in this. They finna go into the worst time ever and be devoured. Okay, this is what they're building amongst these false prophets, man. Untempered mortar. All right, it says, "Lo, when the wall is fallen, shall it not be said unto you, where is the building dug wherewith ye have dug?" See, the Lord is finna do away with everything that these false prophets have built. Okay, judgment is going to come and break these things down. Okay, therefore, thus said the Lord power, I will even rend it with a stormy wind in my fury. All right, and it's going to be through Jacob's trouble, Esau. The oppression finna come. Okay, and everyone that's been playing, all right, they just here to hang out, here for gimmicks. Okay, they're finna be broken down, man. His mind ain't ready to go into this time, man. He don't know what he believes. He don't know what's coming. You see, he just know ISUPK is right. Okay, it says, I will even rend it with a stormy wind in my fury, and there shall be an overflowing shower in my anger, and great hailstones in my fury to consume it, man. And these are the times to come, man. The Lord, all right, is finna judge, man. Okay, the Lord's finna judge, and he finna break up this Hebrew hangout. Okay, we're here. We're supposed to be building, all right, on Yahushua, man, their chief cornerstone. You see, but if you're built on General Yohana, all right, Bishop Nate, okay, Sakari, whatever that is, Genesis. If you're built up on these, Israelite celebrities, okay, you're built with untempered mortar, man, and this is going to collapse with what the Lord got coming. Says, so will I break down It says, so will I break down the wall that you have dug with untempered mortar and bring it down to the ground so that the foundation thereof shall be discovered, man, to see what's happening, what you guys are building on. The foundation that a lot of you guys have built on is slander and GMS. All right, and that's why they come up with a new doctrine that's anti-GMS, but ultimately you're anti the truth because we teach the truth. You see, and that's why you have these different breakdowns because their foundation is based on, all right, being, all right, contrary to GMS. Okay, a lot of these men, a lot of these people that's on these comment boards and leaving all these emojis and okay, they don't have a clue of what the Bible is talking about. Okay, but they just know how to, all right, mimic, all right, GMS slander, okay, and defend that they love. God, look what Alazar did, and men was just they fasted for that nigga, man. Okay, this is the foundation that these men have built. Okay, a bunch of fanboys, all right, simple women, okay, with no understanding. You got a few guys that can go into scriptures and they do that, just to look deep and sound deep and to be uh 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 convincing, that the Lord is dealing. It's not in sincerity. Okay. Well, the foundation of what these camps are building on is being discovered, man. It says, and it shall fall, and ye shall be consumed in the midst thereof, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, man. The Lord finna make some moves amongst these camps, man. In the midst of all this judgment that's getting ready to go out, the Lord finna make some moves. Okay. And I want to get this here. Okay, real quick, just to go into the untempered mortar. All right. So I asked, what does untempered mortar in the Bible mean? Okay. And it says, the phrase, all right, untempered mortar appears in the Bible, all right, particularly in Ezekiel 13:10-15. All right, and it says literal meaning. It says in ancient construction, mortar, all right, was the substance used to hold stones and bricks together. Untempered mortar means mortar that hasn't been properly mixed or hardened, weak, unstable, and unable to hold a wall, all right, securely. Okay, means mortar that hasn't been properly mixed. Okay, which you can liken it to this word, or hardened. Okay, it said weak, unstable, and unable to hold a wall securely. All right, so if you're amongst these camps with these false prophets and these false doctrines and these gimmicks, man, okay, you have you don't have nothing that's going to hold you, man. Okay, those gimmicks are unstable. You see, just you happy to have a T-shirt on. That's not okay. It says in Ezekiel's prophecy, the Most High used this as a metaphor for false prophets and spiritual, deception. It says the false prophets were telling the people that everything was fine, peace, peace, even though their judgment was coming. Their untempered mortar represents false assurances, empty promises, or shallow teachings that give a false sense of security. All right, because that's the only thing that he said with security is ISUBK is the way. It's the only thing he was saying with security. Everything else, he didn't have a clue of what was going on. Okay, it said the wall represents the nations or the people's spiritual condition. It looks stable, but it's actually ready to fall. So you look at ISUPK, IUIC, you look at these things, they got the shields, they got the AI, these superheroes, they're saving the world and through AI. So you look at AI like, dang, they got it. It's got to be. They're marching, they on cadence, okay, music videos. So you look at these things and it's like, dang, it looks secure. Okay. But when pressure comes, you're gonna see a lot of these a lot of these people with these fringes on is finna collapse with what's getting ready to come. Okay, and this is what the Lord is showing, and the Lord wanted to shed light on, the reverence for John the Baptist, okay, and what he did, okay, because that came out. All right, but it's a lot of things that look cute and got these numbers and all because they love to boast on the numbers and the live screens and how many people watching and doing this in the community. So if you're from the outside looking in, it's like, yeah, these men on point. Okay, nah, man. Okay, and that we finna see. Okay, because it takes storm and wind to see what you really done built. Okay, because you can build something on a sunny day. You can look at it like, yeah, that's me. But then after the storm, that's when you go outside and see, okay, what you done built. Okay, and Yahweh Bashim Al Shai is getting ready to bring this storm. Okay, and then we're gonna see what's what. Okay, what's to come. These times to come, we're finna tell it all, man. And poor leadership is gonna be fatal in this time. Okay, poor leadership is gonna be fatal. You see, right now you can like this guy, this young Jake, he can go up there, misled as hell, and just walk away and go kick it downtown Dallas with his woman. But it's gonna come a time, okay, when he's gonna have to stand on something. He's gonna have to make a decision, okay, and based on how, he's been groomed up, he's gonna make a decision that he can't walk away from. Okay, and it's gonna be dishonorable. All right. So let's go here, Luke 6:46, and we end it here. It says, why call you me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom, okay, he is like. He is like a man, all right, which built an house and dig deep and laid the foundation, okay, on a rock. And when the flood arose, the screen, all right, beat vehemently upon the house, okay, and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock, which is Yahweh Shai. You see, there's serious minded, that the Lord has raised up serious minded men. Okay, in these days, starting our apostles and elders and men on down, there's men that's built on Yahweh Shai, man. And Lord will we endure, man. You see, we're going to be able to bear what's to come because we've been built on Yahweh Shai, that chief cornerstone, that sure foundation. Okay, because it's coming, because we see everybody finna go through, okay, these times, man. Okay, but everyone not going to make it out. You see, verse 49 said, but he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. Okay, and we're going to see, all right, these times, prophecy, the times we coming into, we're finna see a lot of Israelites, okay, that buckle, man, that ain't built, all right, that ain't built for what's to come. Okay, so yes, it's much more we can get into it. I'm quite sure it'd be multiple responses, but that's my take on it, just watching it. But Lord will, you brothers and sisters edify. And remember, soon as, all right, Elder Yawan said, you're gonna be able to tell the difference between someone that's prepared for the fight and someone who just been thrown out there, man. And this Jake will walk up, and he represents one of many. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Till next time I say shalom. Kwam Yashalom. Bible Ball soon. Shalom.